Alright, good morning and back at it again. Here we go with the early Arsenal news. What is transpiring around Arsenal? Basically a lot of news, but Aubameyang is fit, but not fully fit. So we have to monitor his situation slowly. We'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about how Aouar's agent and brother, Brahim Aouar, actually failed his brother's deal to Arsenal. Should he happy with, should he be happy with him? Should he be, angry? I'm not really sure about that. Mikel Arteta wants 2 more signings according to Football.London in the January transfer window, and how Mikel Arteta is going to use Smith Rowe and Jose Willock because we have a shortage in that midfield, and maybe this could be their chance to prove that they are worth playing in that Arsenal squad. Why not smash up the like button, click that like button, click the subscription button, and give me your comment on what you think about the topics in this video, because I'm already starting. For the question in this one is, do you think Aouar will sign for Arsenal in January? Do you think Aouar will sign for Arsenal in January? And of course, I'm starting with the news right away. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, of course, we know that he sustained that ankle injury during the Sheffield United game. The win, we got far-fetched, and he got that ankle injury, and all of us thought, because yesterday reports were coming in that it was this big, he's missing the Gabon international tour and so on, so it is this big. But however, reports show that he's becoming fit. He's becoming better and better, and probably he'll be available for selection during the Manchester City game. That's the biggest news in this morning, and when I saw it, I was really relieved. You don't know what it means to have a player like Aubameyang sidelined for a game like Manchester City. It's like literally the whole team, is being taken away. He's our captain. He has done it, and when it comes to the big teams, he's the threat we have so far. I know players like Gabriel, players like Leno are gonna stand out, but Aubameyang has that special quality when it comes to big teams. He's this kind of player that he never gets lost. He's going to disturb them. They come knowing that Arsenal has Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and we have to prepare for him. So that is that's the biggest thing I would want to see in an Arsenal team every time we are on the pitch. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. So I think his ankle injury, of course, ankle injuries are really tricky. They're like knee injuries. They're really tricky. A player comes back. If you rush a player, they might come back as soon as you want them, but then they get the injury becomes worse. So I pray that he comes back to the pitch fully fit, not forced. Because if you force an ankle injury, if you force a knee injury, all of us know how bad those injuries can actually develop. But I think he's going to really be fine. So let us wait for the Manchester City game. He still has 7 days, till Manchester City. So we still have a lot of time. We are playing Manchester City on Sunday, this coming Sunday. So I think we still have a lot of time. But that is the fitness. It's a big boost ahead of the Manchester City game. A big boost, because we know Manchester City is struggling, and this is the time we have to hit on them. If Leeds can grab a point against them, we can do that as well, or even beat them and get 3 points. That is, that will show us that we are in the top 4 race. If you can beat Manchester City, you're officially in the top 4 race. But we cannot beat City when our best players start getting doubted. Kieran Tierney sidelined for 14 days for reasons that are not really qualified. They are qualified because COVID and so on, but the whole team isn't sidelined, but it's only Kieran Tierney. Imagine. Then Aubameyang gets injured, so we need our best team to verse Manchester City. And I pray but that as we all evolve through this week, we shall get all the players. But now there is an interesting piece about Aouar's agent. His name is called Brahim Aouar, and he is his brother. Reports show that Aouar's deal to Arsenal was almost done, but his brother, the agent, asked for 10 million agent fees. Remember, the player was to cost us 40 million to 50, but the player the player's agent wanted 10 million as agent fees. Now this is crazy. This is crazy. As if we're signing someone from, you know, some South American team or some, you know, or some Portuguese club, because I think that's where the, you know, that kind of trash happens, where agents, you know, ask for a lot of, you know, agent fees. And then Brahima is not a super agent. He's not a Mina Raiola. He's not a George Mendes. Why do you ask for that, you know, kind of money? It's not like, you know, he has a big hand in how Sema was, you know, because how Sema was, you know, developed at Lyon. He's a player was, you know, he has been fed and grown up at Lyon. There isn't much, you know, business he has done for, you know, for Usemawa. Maybe changing positions in his career, you know, strategically positioning him and so on. No. You're not a super agent. You're asking for 10 million, quit off a deal that is not even 60 million pounds. You know, so his agent was the biggest stumbling block. And I came here and I told you guys that Jean-Michel Aulas had confirmed and announced that they were to lose 2 players on the next 2 days. That was Wednesday, before the closure of the transfer summer. He said it clearly that we are going to lose players on the next 2 days. That was Memphis Depay and Asamoah. That means there was an agreement. There was something agreed between Lyon and Arsenal. And you know, Romano said that the club wanted 60 million euros and Arsenal couldn't negotiate their way around. But if Lyon were very, you know, sure that they were not going to reduce that price, like Romano says, we shouldn't have wasted all that time in negotiation. Clearly something was going on, but the problem was clearly the agent. How Sema was brother Brahim, you know, Aouar, asking for 10 million as agent fees. I mean, this is not 100 million, you know, because even if it was, you know, 100 million deal, you'll be taking 10%. Clearly, you know, the player is not a free agent that you're asking for all this money because the player is a free agent. I don't know what, you know, I don't know what, you know, he was thinking, but, you know, that story also came up this morning as well. We have loaned out 2 players to the championship again. I hope you have heard of this. One is called Dian Ilev and the other is Tola Tupola. They have gone to the championship for more playing time. So we wish them all the best as well. Now, again, Football.London claim Mikel Arteta wants 2 more signings in the January transfer window, and this could be a midfielder and a striker. Now, we know the striking problems that we are going to face in the coming season, or in this season actually. In the coming times, we have a couple of games that are compacted, and then we might have not enough forwards. Not enough forwards. Now, I don't mean the wingers. I don't mean the wingers. I mean these, you know, strikers up front. I feel Lacazette is lacking. I feel Aubameyang might be one of those players that, you know, are gonna show us that if a player is injured, if a key player is injured, what do you do? And of course, Eddie Nketiah, we know he's a good player, he's a young player, but he needs that, you know, he needs to take his time. You don't need to pressure him, you know, that give me 50 goals in a season, give me 30 goals in a season. So probably if Mikel Arteta thinks about getting a striker in the January transfer window, that is right. Of course, a creative midfielder is, you know, is going to be our priority either in the January transfer window or in the summer, and you will see much of the reports around Arsenal linking us with a creative midfielder in the summer or in the January transfer window. But however, what Mikel Arteta has to know and Edu that before we bring in any other players, we have to, you know, deal with the deadwood first, you know, first and foremost. So I think Mikel Arteta knows clearly that, you know, he was lucky to get Thomas Partey without moving out, you know, most of his deadwood. But right now, he has almost 6-7 players that are going to be running out of contract. You know, in the January transfer window is the time when we can get some good money out of these players. The players like Socrates, players like, you know, Mesut Ozil and the others. So basically, the January transfer window is to move on the deadwood so that we can actually prepare for the summer. That's what I think is going to happen. We might not be, you know, in position. We might not be able to bring in so many new players in the January transfer window like you guys would want. But if we can use that, January transfer window to move on the deadwood, let some players go. The Callum Chambers should go. Many players should go that aren't needed. Socrates, Mustafi, and the others. Then we might have a successful summer, because we shall need to replace some of those. Not all of them, but some of those. Because if we can let something like 7 players, 8 players go in the January transfer window, or 4 players go in the January transfer window, and then the other players will go in the summer. Now that means that we have to bring in at least 3 good signings, and that would be an exciting summer, because news will be flying around, and as Arsenal fans, we really want to be busy in the transfer window. Lastly, don't forget to go to the Arsenal website. There are 4 players nominated for Player of the Month. Alexander Lacazette, like I say, he started his season very well. 4 games, 4 goals. In all competition this season, and of course the 3 Premier League games he has played, he has scored 3 goals and 3 times, so have no problems with him. Gabriel Magalhaes, who I think is the Player of the Month, September, he has done absolutely, everything a new player would do at Arsenal. I think he's absolutely deserving to be the Player of the Month in September. Heikki Bellerin is also on the list. I'm not really sure why, but he's on the list. And Bukayo Saka, my young boy, I think he's the best player at Arsenal right now. He must be the best player at Arsenal right now. Ever since Mikel Arteta joined, Bukayo Saka is the most progressive player, in that squad. Leave alone Aubameyang, leave alone anyone. I think Saka is one of the players that are really enjoying the stay of Mikel Arteta at Arsenal. And finally, we'll be talking about Joseph Willock and Smith Rowe, because these 2 could be benefiting out of Mikel Arteta's shortage in numbers in the midfield. So this is practically a chance where Mikel Arteta has to trust these 2 boys. Smith Rowe, one player who has not had a lot of playing time with the club, but is practically better than Joseph Willock. Arsenal is really funny. You have Joseph Willock stay at the club. You have Emily Smith Rowe, who is better, going out on loan. I think if there was anyone who needed a loan deal desperately to develop their talent, to get more playing time, to prove where they are worth what we think they are worth, it's Joe Willock. Willock is really funny. When you bring him on the pitch, he looks naive. He looks like he has never played any game in his life. That's what, every day, that is his performance. Young players, his fellow young lads, players he has developed with, are becoming better and better every day. Look at Saka, look at Gabriel Martinelli, look at Nketiah, look at Balogun. They are even young players that we want to see on the pitch, but they do not get a chance. Martinelli. Every Arsenal fan will tell you, why don't we bring in Gabriel Martinelli? Every Arsenal fan will say that. Why don't we give Balogun a chance? Nketiah scoring goals and breaking records, with the English, international team under 21. But interestingly, Willock is stuck somewhere, and I think Arsenal is making a big mistake by letting him stay around, sit on the bench. He's just going to become like another Jack Wilshere. Let him go out on loan, get his experience, and then we shall be very sure. Because for Smith Rowe, he has been out on loan for quite some time, and by the time we brought him back, all of us felt like it is his time. It is time to give him a chance. Same with Balogun. He has been playing under there, and we feel it's time to give him a chance. So I think Joe Willock should be getting a lot of playing time, either in the lower levels, under 21, play under 23, playing with Steve Paul's side, or we should get him a comfortable loan deal. But this kind of thing of letting him stay at the club, but not really the quality, I think we are doing him a big disservice. So that is those are the stories around Arsenal today. Aubameyang's fitness is getting better. Mikel Arteta wants to use Jose Willock and Eric Smith Rowe to solve the midfield dilemma in his club. Aouar's agent Brahim Aouar was the problem as to why the deal didn't fail. We have loaned out 2 more players to the championship, and Mikel Arteta wants 2 more signings in the January transfer window. But however, we have to fast move on the deadlock. Have a nice morning, and of course, don't forget, back at it again. We'll be back shortly.